Okay. So we're on Parsha's Beha'Aloscha. So first of all, for the Torah Anytime people, there's I was giving a shiur in Los Angeles, and there was a young lady who was sitting on, came in and late and wanted to ask a question, and I think your name was something like Nili or something, I'm not sure. Somebody told me afterwards I couldn't take the question because there was a bunch of men sitting there. But if you would like to contact, if you'd like to make contact, please feel free to email me. Whatever your name is, Nili or whatever it is, I'd be glad to answer your question. If you had a question, whatever it is, at Dovid B. Kaplan. B is in baseball, basketball, badminton. Dovid B. Kaplan at Gmail. So feel free to contact me. Okay, we're on Parshas Beha'Aloscha. When you bring up the Beha'Aloscha, literally means when you elevate, when you raise up the candles. Now, first of all, before I say, you'll notice that there's a double terminology. Look at that first pasuk, where it says Daber alarm v'amarta ela Beha'Aloscha saneros. Now, you should be troubled by something. Something about that you should find peculiar.
Is it a love?
Look carefully. No, not a love.
The Marta and then the letter, like first it says.
Say what?
The subject of the both verbs.
No, something else. It could be, but something else should bother you right away. Daber el Aaron, speak to Aaron, ve'amarta elav, and say to him. Yeah. Why double terminology? And besides the fact, Daber is harsh, and Omar is softer. But besides that, why do you need a double terminology? Daber ve'amarta. Why do you have to say it and repeat it? Daber, say to Aaron, and speak to Aaron and say to him. Well, if I speak to you, I'm saying something to you, no? If I speak to you, I'm saying to you. So why is it double terminology? Every word of the Torah is measured. So why is it double? Yeah.
Maybe to emphasize, like to push Moses to actually do it, and then he's saying and say this.
Good, and that's true, and it's good. The question is why Moshe Rabbeinu has a pretty good track record of doing what Hashem has told him to do. There's no reason why it should need to be pushed here any more than anywhere else. In other words, it's out. What do you call it? Out. It stands out in the That's a strange terminology. Daber ve'amarta. Not only that, I would say even more. Whenever you repeat something to somebody, why do you repeat it? If you say it over and over, why are you repeating it? Of course, because there's something that's important, which is why wives always say things to husband twice, right? Because they know the husbands are going to mess it up the first time. I told you, I heard about a guy who's reading this study. He says to his wife, "Hey, Viv, I just read a study. Women use twice as many words in the course of a lifetime as men do." So his wife says, "Of course, because everything we say we got to repeat twice." So he says to her, "I didn't get you. What'd you say?" So I think the Al Sheikh HaKadosh says, Daber ve'amarta. First, he says to Aaron the secrets behind the menorah, the deep hidden secrets behind the lighting of the menorah. I mean, the menorah certainly conjures up an image of something like, ooh, fire, Ve'amarta, and then comes the command of what to do. First, I'm telling you what it's about, which may be why it's a harsher terminology, because you're talking about all the secrets. Don't mess up on the kavana and on everything else. That maybe I'm only suggesting that. And then ve'amarta elav, and then give him the command that when you bring up the neros, then you should what do you call it? You should light it in a certain way. Yeah, but go ahead, Mir.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to ask because I think we see that formula like a few times in the Torah.
So we have to see each time, right? We have to see each time. Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, so that goes with what Dan said. That probably there's some level of importance that needs to be emphasized. It's some level of importance. That's interesting. I don't know what over there. You're right. Yeah. Could be the importance of tzitzis. Good. I don't know. Or could be that. See, I have to check. It could be that that's a theme that applies all the way through. He first tell them the secret of the tzitzis, and then the command of of the putting on. Could be. Very good. So there's a very, very, what I would call a very kind of a strange question here that people ask. If you take a look at Rashi. Rashi says, which one is it? Where is it? He mentions. Where does Rashi? Oh, here it is. It's the fifth line of Rashi. Fifth line. V'od darshu on the word Beha'Aloscha. The word Beha'Aloscha. When you raise up, when you go up. So Rashi says v'od darshu Rabbeinu mikan shemala haisel lifnei menorah. There was some sort of step, a platform in front of the menorah. She'aleh kohen omedu meitiv. That's what the kohen, when he did the candles, he went up on this platform in front of the menorah. Now, this, they ask an interesting question. The menorah was 18 tefachim high. 18 tefachim is about 3 amos, all right, which is not very high. 3 amos is about, let's call it 5.5 feet at maximum, 6 feet maximum. And your average person is 3 amos high. Why does he need I mean, this thing is basically at eye level. Why does he need a platform 3 steps in front of the menorah in order to deal with the wick? So why do you have to go up on a platform for it? It's right there. It's almost at eye level. Why does he have to go stand up above it? Rashi says that there's a platform in front of the menorah. What do you need the platform for if you're what do you call it? You know, you're right. You're it's not, you know, how high is it? 3 amos is over here. Aaron was taller than that. So I saw Rabbi Moshe Feinstein says it's true. He could have done it that way. On the other hand, if you're standing on a platform and you have better leverage, you're going to do it more efficiently. Which is teaching you that when it comes to doing mitzvahs, do the mitzvahs to maximum efficiency. Don't just get away with it. Don't just do it to get it, to finish with it. Do the mitzvah in the most efficient way possible. If you have an option to do the mitzvah in an efficient way, so do it in an efficient way. We'll stand up on a platform. I don't need it. I know you don't need it, but do it anyway, because that way you'll do it better. That way you'll do it better. Just this morning I was trying to I had to fix my air conditioner, what do you call it? So I went into the room, and I was just saying, I'm tired, and I just want to get it fixed. And I said to myself, you know what, 1 second, I'm not comfortable right now. So I turned on the fan to make sure that I'm cool, at least I'm not hot, so that I could work on it better. I want to do a good job on it. I could have done it without that, but did I get it done? So the Torah is telling you the same thing over here. The Torah is telling you that when it comes to doing the mitzvahs, a person should do the mitzvahs efficiently, number 2. Number 3, Rav Moshe Feinstein also says that the idea of Beha'Aloscha, if you take a look, is if you want to help pull other people up, if you want to pull people up in general, especially in Ruchnius, if you want to pull people up, you got to pull yourself up first. The best way to pull, good morning, don't worry, I was late.
Watch the game, that's all.
I was late. You want to the basketball game?
Celtics.
Yeah.
Really?
10 years later, they also beat the Spurs. Very on shot was 10 years ago.
10, the Heat. What, in the finals they beat the Spurs?
They did on Ray Allen shot.
Oh, that was the Ray Allen shot. That was
Game 6 versus Spurs, and then Game 7 they whooped them.
that was game 6 against the Spurs?
Championship.
Oh, that must Ray Allen shot was against the Spurs? Oh, that must have hurt. And I must have heard. Wow, that must have been really painful.
Years later, Peter going back.
Yeah, so that must have been like seriously painful. Yeah. So what do you call it? He says that Aaron HaKohen, what's the job of the Kohen? The Kohen, the job is to pull people up. This is something people forget in life. If you want to have an influence on other people, if you're gonna influence other people, most people in the world, telling them what to do doesn't help. Nobody wants to be told what to do. I just heard 2 women fighting on the bus just now. I was on the bus. One of the ladies got on with her wagon, with her agala, an old lady. Another old lady said, just put the wagon in the back so it won't interfere with people. She said, don't tell me what to do. And 2 old ladies, I want to see them go at it. Yeah, I thought this was going to be really good. Come on, let's go. Let's mix it up. It would have been good, with a little entertainment in the morning. But nobody wants to be told what to do. You can't tell people. The people ask you what about my son. I just had a guy calling me up about his son. I said, you can't tell people what to do. You can't tell anybody. You can't tell a teenager what to do. You can't tell anybody what to do. The best thing you can do is you set an example. You want to pull people up, pull yourself up. Once you pull yourself up, then maybe you could tell people what to do. Right? If the Chafetz Chaim was alive and he would walk in here and he would tell us not to speak Lashon Hara, to him I'd listen to. Because he's working on himself and he's the Chafetz Chaim. If my roommate told me not to speak Lashon Hara, who are you? Who are you? And you also speak Lashon Hara. If you really cared about it, you'd work on yourself. You would be working on me. So you obviously don't really care about it. You only want to figure out where you could nail me somehow. Otherwise you'd be working on yourself. That's why we resent it. let's say somebody says to you, somebody sitting at the table, somebody says, you know, Ray, Dan, you really shouldn't eat with your elbows on the table. Why does it bother you? Why does it bother us to be criticized? I mean, if he's right, either he's right or he's wrong. Either you're doing it and you shouldn't be doing it, or you're not doing it. You understand? Why should it be bothering you? Why does it bother you? The answer is because I see the way you eat. You also eat with your elbows on the table. So if you're telling me, you're obviously not bothered by that. That's not where you're coming from. You're looking for something to pick on me. That's why we get upset. If it's something that's legitimate and it's somebody who is legitimate and he's telling me that I'm doing something wrong, that I accept. That I accept because obviously it's legitimate and he's legitimate. But if it's somebody who I suspect they've got ulterior motivation, they're only using this as a way of picking on me for this, there's a backlash. That's what happens. So the Torah says he's got to pull himself up. Okay. Number 3 over here is back to the beginning of the Parsha, back to the beginning of the Rashi. I want to show you something over here. It's very, very remarkable. The top line, Rashi says over here, Beha'Aloscha, when you bring up the candles. So the first Rashi in the Parsha, Lama nismecha Parshas HaMenorah leParshas HaNesiyim. Why was this section, page 774, why was this section of the menorah juxtaposed to the section of last week's Parsha where the Nesiyim brought their offerings, the 12 Nesiyim, which the Torah takes up 3 aliyahs to tell us what each Nasi brought? Okay, why? Why did the Torah do that? Why did the Torah take up? So why didn't it just say ditto, 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 ditto? Each Nasi, it describes the exact same thing. There are different reasons that are given. One of the reasons is that each Nasi, at the point that he did it, he was actually what's it called? Inspired on his own. He came up with this inspiration on his own, what to bring. It wasn't like a joint okay, we're all going to bring the same thing. Wow. That each one came up with it, this is the ideal offering to bring. Yeah. Number 1. Number 2, the initiation of the inauguration of the Mishkan parallels the creation of the world. The Mishkan is the new world centralized. It's the whatever God created is now intensified and it's centralized and more concentrated in one place. So each Nasi, as he is bringing this, he is, so to speak, a partner with God in creation. And when you have a partner with God in creation, you don't say ditto. And you mentioned what he did. Number 1. Number 3, somebody who's just on a practical level. You know, imagine a shul where they're making donations. You know, they have a drive for the shul. What's it called? An appeal. They make an appeal for the shul. So people give money. Now, if you say, well, the Goldmans gave $10,000, it's same by the Levins, right? That's the last time you're getting any money from the Levins. Yeah. You know, the Goldmans gave $10,000. We thank him very much for their. The Levins gave $10,000. We thank them very much. If it's like the Goldmans, then we thank them very much. Oh, by the way, same for the Levins. You know, that's the last time you're going to see the Levins. That's never going to happen again. You know, the story of the rabbi gets up in the shul. He says, "Okay, I got some good news and some bad news." Yeah. Right. The first is that we need to build a new wing for the shul because the shul's expanded. The good news is we already have the money. The bad news is it's in your pockets. So here it says that Aaron. I told you a story about the guy from the Jewish United Fund. They call this lawyer up. I say, hey, Bernstein, Mr. Bernstein, you know, our records show that you are earning upwards of $850,000 a year, and we haven't got a donation from you this year. And Bernstein says, well, do your records also show that my sister is a widow raising 4 kids on her own? Does your records also show that my mother is incapacitated and she's living all by herself? Do your records also show that my brother's a disabled Vietnam vet? And if they can't get a dime out of me, what makes you think you will? So 1 second, Mayor, 1 second. So Rashi says like this. Why is this section juxtaposed to that section? When Aaron saw that the Nesiyim were involved in the inauguration, he got depressed. Neither he nor his tribe were involved. And like he's jealous. Hey, what happened? Amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Hashem said, Chayecha. It's a terminology that means he's making a vow. Shalcha gadol mishalahem. What you have is more prominent than theirs. Sha'ata madlik u'meiti v'saneros, because you're going to be lighting the candles. So the question that people ask over here is, you know, we find another man who was also jealous of somebody else. Aaron was like, wow, they get to serve and I don't. Right? That's really what's going on, is what we call jealousy. Who else do we find this by? Korach. Why does he get to be the Kohen Gadol and not me? Yet what's the difference? Korach gets swallowed up, and Aaron gets a very prominent, not only prominent, Hashem says this is more prominent than them, because theirs is a one-off. Lighting the menorah is a daily thing. It's going to have daily in the Mishkan, and not only that, the sources say that the Ramban says that the Hanukkah menorahs are a continuation of that. So Aaron's got an eternal job. From where? From looking at, hey, how come they got and I don't? What every parent says kids shouldn't do, right? How come he got and I didn't? For parents, it's okay, though. How come they got a new car and we didn't? You know, that's fine. As long as you're not a kid, then you can be jealous of other people. That's the way it works. Only kids have to be perfect. Right? How come they got a new house and we don't? Right? How come he got a promotion and I didn't? No, that's fine. Only the kids. How come he got a new truck and I didn't? No, don't worry about what somebody else got. Yeah, no, only you could, right? Beautiful. So why is it that Korach gets swallowed and Aaron doesn't?
Because they're disputing. It's a whole different.
Oh, so number one, you know, you started a whole rebellion. It doesn't say that Aaron started a rebellion, right? Which is an indication. It's the cause, but it's an indication. What's it really an indication of? It's an indication of where's this coming from. Korach is on a personal level. He's jealous on a personal level. So when you're jealous on a personal level, then you start rebellions. Because everybody's on your planet. Everybody's interfering with you, right? Everybody's on your cloud. Which is where Mick Jagger got the song from, right? Everybody's on your cloud, right? Get out of my way. You're all in my way. That's where a rebellion comes from. Whereas Aaron, what's he upset about? He's upset because he doesn't get to partake in serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's nothing personal here. What's the proof? Because he didn't start a rebellion. Nobody starts a rebellion when they can't serve Hashem, because they understand that a rebellion is also not a way of serving Hashem. When you're serving yourself, so you're serving yourself, so then you don't care how you're serving. I'll rebel also because you're caught up in yourself. If you're trying to serve the Ribono Shel Olam, trying to serve Hashem, so then, okay, he didn't include me, but I'm certainly not going to make an issue, because that's certainly not serving Hashem. That's also part of serving Hashem. So Aaron is upset that he doesn't have the privilege. For that, you get rewarded. If you're really upset that you can't do the mitzvah, for that you get rewarded. That's already a high level of service of Hashem. I was in America just now. I was in Los Angeles, and I was very happy because I got to do the Birkas Kohanim every morning, because I was with the Persian community. The Ashkenazim in Chutz La'aretz do not do, Ashkenazim outside of Eretz do not duchen every day. They only do it on Yomim Tovim. On Yomim Tovim, and then only at Musaf. Whereas on Shabbos, no. The what do you call it? The Sephardim, some Sephardim I think do only on Shabbos, but the Persians do it every day. So I got to do that. On the other hand, I missed out on Parshas Naso. Because here, in Israel, they lay Parshas Naso on Shabbos. Whereas for the people who live in Israel who keep 2 days, so there were certain places where they made a minyan for them, because at Mincha and Shabbos, did they do that here? I mean, they're laying all of Parshas Naso. Now in America, nobody was laying Parshas Naso. There's certainly no minyan to lay Parshas Naso. And now, by the time I get back to Israel, nobody's laying Parshas Naso on Tuesday evening. So I actually missed the Torah reading of Parshas Naso. Now, what I may do, I don't know if I will, is take a Sefer Torah, just lean it for myself out of a Sefer Torah, but that doesn't really do anything. Unless you lean it with a minyan, that's not official, it's not a chiyuv. I don't have a chiyuv anyway, I don't have an obligation. But there are certain people who would overturn heaven and earth for this. They would gather people, I don't know exactly how they would do it. So to the degree that you're upset about missing out a minyan, a mitzvah, that's a merit for you. That is a merit. There are certain people who go to America, they're not with the Persian community, they don't do duchen. Okay, but at least it should feel like, wow, I missed duchening. Now, by the way, the halachic shaila was asked if an Ashkenazi in America should better daven in a Persian minyan so that he could, a kohen who's an Ashkenazi, better daven him in the poskim. Say no. Yeah, they don't change your nusach. They daven with your regular minyan. I happen to be with that community and they're davening in that shul, so I happen to catch it. But so Aaron. The difference between Aaron and Korach is that Aaron was clearly not on a personal level. It was clearly not on a personal level, because if it was on a personal level, he also would have started a rebellion. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have better news tomorrow.